Unlocking the Success DNA, Lyndall Douglas Global Ministries. He is a financial planner for over 20 years. He also has a bestseller book on Amazon. It's called Five Steps to Financial Freedom. It's a biblical guide.
Success is already coded in our DNA. We just need to unlock it.
Hi, my name is Marsha Marie, and welcome to another episode of Success DNA. My guest today is Mr. Hutchinson, and boy oh boy do we have so much in store to discuss. Mr. Hutchinson, thank you so much for being with us today. Welcome.
It's my pleasure to be here.
So let's jump right into it. Tell us about who you are. If you could summarize your life in a couple of words, what would you say?
A couple of words, my life has been fairly simple, I would say, but has been interesting for me. And I've enjoyed it. I can't say there was any period in my life that I didn't really enjoy that.
That's amazing.
And I've been very fortunate in a number of ways.
Okay, so I know you were born in Barbados,
That's right.
but you're now living in Jamaica.
Yes.
What brought you to Jamaica?
I came here on a sports team from the St. Augustine campus where I did civil engineering. And after my final year, there was a sports meet in Jamaica at Mona. And I came with the hockey team. Strangely enough, I was on the hockey team in Trinidad,
Okay.
but in the UWI St. Augustine. But when they were about to leave for Jamaica, they said, we really don't have the funds to take all our teams, so we can't afford to take it. If you pay your way, we'll give you the accommodation and everything, you can be part of it.
Part of the team.
So I came. I thought it was a great opportunity to see Jamaica because I'd met lots of Jamaicans down there. And
Yeah.
so it was a good chance to come here. And they were
Experience Jamaica for yourself.
Right, and so on. So that's how I got here.
Interesting.
And when I got here now, I decided to. Some friends told me that there's a firm here, an engineering firm here, looking for young engineers. So I went to see them and had an interview, and they said, "Okay, when can you start?"
Just like that.
they were really, looking up for the engineers. But so that's how I got here, and I just stayed. I know that this was in 1967, and I stayed. I got married in 1970. So I got lucky.
In Jamaica?
Yes, I got lucky early to Jamaica. And they say, it was funny because in Barbados, the ladies in Barbados said that those Jamaican women, boy, once they get older, the Barbadian men,
That's it.
they're not coming back. And there were quite a lot of Barbadian men who came to Jamaica. In fact, along the way to UWI in Mona. Like when the Freetown University started in 1951. And they graduated, they stayed. Some came up also as teachers from Barbados because there was a tertiary institution in Barbados called Codrington College. And if you ever heard of it, it's a theological college in Barbados. And they were a degree granting institution. Probably one in the Caribbean.
Okay.
So a number of the teachers actually went throughout the island and the islands, and to get job as teachers and so on. So there are quite a few Jamaicans, Barbadians here that I knew or knew their families and stuff and so on. So it was, and not only that, but when I was here, I met a lot of students from Barbados who are now Mona doing their studies. So I hung out at UW Mona most of the time. And my brother, a younger brother now, he came up on the same flight as me to enter UW and to do medicine. So he was there. So
you had company.
I had company, yeah.
You had company. Okay, that's
So
good.
that's how I got here.
So what made you stay? Really? What was it about Jamaica that made you stay?
I just saw Jamaica as a place with a lot of opportunities. You had resources that we didn't have, a natural resource that we didn't have in Barbados. Barbados had the sea and the sun,
Yeah.
not much more. They had no other natural resources. They had some pretty good infrastructure generally, and a very good education system. That's one thing that Barbados had, a very, very good education system.
Yeah.
And I explain to Jamaicans all the time, I think one of the reasons why Barbados had a very good education system was one, that they were, of course, very close to the English, that they call it little lingo. And the other was that Barbados was a small island, 166 square miles. I live way out in the country, which was 12 miles away from Bridgetown. So I could go, every day I could go to the best schools in Bridgetown.
That's good.
And back home. That's why you had a bus get there. So it's very easy to attend high school
Yeah.
and get, a good education. Nobody was too remote and couldn't get to school. They have to worry about transportation and
Yeah.
stuff.
That wasn't an issue.
No, that was not the issue at all.
Okay. So came to Jamaica, got the job at the civil engineering
Yeah.
company.
Yeah.
What was next for you?
But I just wanted to get as much experience as possible. And in fact, I decided to go into an area of civil engineering that is not very common, very popular. It has to do with geotechnical engineering, soils and materials that are used in construction and so on. And just general things like road construction, road building, design of roads and that sort of thing. So these were areas that I would not have had a lot of opportunity in Barbados because they don't have that many roads.
Yeah. So Jamaica definitely had that opportunity for you.
So it provided that opportunity as well. And then I got married, and 3 years after here, to the most wonderful woman in the world. And we're still married.
That's amazing.
how many years now? 53 years now. We got married in 1970.
That's good. Congratulations. That's remarkable.
Well, thank you. My parents, and I have to go back to my parents all the time because they were the foundation of my there. My mother and father were married for 68 years.
Wow.
At the time when he died in 2004 at 98. And then my mother lived on to 105. She died.
So you guys are along with us.
She died 2 years ago. At 105. But so I kept returning to Barbados and to visit them almost every year. We go back for Christmas. We have Christmas dinner with them, which was always fantastic. I mean, our family came. There were 6 of us, 6 kids, and they were scattered all over the place. 2 were in Canada. 1 was in New York. That's the one who graduated in medicine from here. Went to New York. The sister was in Trinidad. She got married and went to Trinidad, lived in Trinidad her life. She's still living in Trinidad. And another brother, he joined the British Navy. So we were all over the place.
But
when Christmas came,
Barbados, everybody went back home.
So, and then the grandchildren now started coming back home. So it was a big thing. Christmas dinner was a lovely family gathering and so on. So that was the focal point at the time. They brought us all back there together.
I'm interested in even understanding from your perspective, through your life and your experience, how do you define success? What does success mean for you?
Success means choosing a career path, a life path, and enjoying what you're doing. You look forward to the next day. So I never dread looking forward to the next day. I didn't do a lot of exciting things probably, but I look forward to the things that I did.
You were passionate. You felt fulfilled about what you were doing. Have you always been in civil engineering?
Yes.
How many years have you been in civil engineering?
Well, from 1967 to now.
Do the maths.
That's how many years.
That's over 57 years.
Yeah.
Another thing that I would like to get your viewpoint on is, what do you think is the recipe for the success in your marriage? I know you've been together for 50 odd years and you've still kept it. What do you think kept your marriage certainly for so long? Because in this day and age, we see a lot of marriages breaking up.
Yes.
And there's several reasons for that. So what do you think was the secret to your marriage still being successful?
But first, as I said earlier, I think I was lucky to have found the right person. No, I tell you what, we are so different in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is an extrovert. She's really very good with people and stuff and so on. And she captures the heart of people that she interacts with on a daily basis. I don't have those skills.
You're the other side.
I'm quiet, an introvert,
So you definitely complement each other in that
So we
aspect.
complement each other in that respect. Also. But the thing is, I think it's important though that you have full respect and confidence in each other.
Mm-hmm. That's key.
And if she's doing something I'm not comfortable about, I'm not afraid to say it to her, and she's definitely not afraid to say it to me. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And we adjust because we accept that we can't always be right.
Mm-hmm. That's very critical.
That's right. You can't always be right.
Can't always be right. I'm taking notes in because I want my mark to last long enough.
So I think that has been very, but a lot really has to do with your upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
I saw how my parents lived.
Your viewpoints on marriage.
I really can't remember a day when I saw my mother and my father angry with each other,
Mm-hmm.
or big argument over anything and stuff and so on.
Mm-hmm.
They probably did agree on some stuff, but there was never any rancor.
Yeah.
And they got on very, very well.
Mm.
And she was like 9 years younger. And she was the last in her family. And my father, and she was called Baby, and he called her Baby up to the day he died. She was always Baby. Her name was Helen,
Wow.
and he called her Baby, and she was called as Baby. And all the relatives called her Baby.
Wow. She was certainly his baby.
And she was a very charming lady. Loved her children,
Mm-hmm.
and did everything she could for them.
So I'm sure you took some of the same things that you saw your mom and dad.
I tell you what, it goes even further than that, because I have one son.
Mm-hmm.
He's 45, so say that.
Mm-hmm.
But my wife was a flight attendant with Air Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
When I met her before she was actually a flight attendant first, about a year before, and I didn't see her for about a year. Then I met her again, and she was a flight attendant, and she was a flight attendant for like 26 years with Air Jamaica.
Wow.
And she said, so when we had our son, Andre, because we only have one.
Mm-hmm.
During the summer months and so on, we would take him down to Barbados and let him spend a few
Days with family.
weeks up there
Mm-hmm.
with my grandparents. And also with the other grandchildren that came from the farm. So he got to grow up among
His
kids. So,
family.
because there's one child at home, it's not really good for one child at home. But he
That's
got to interact with the other kids and so on.
Yeah.
It's very important. And up to this day, he still recalls things that my father did that had made an impression on him.
Mm-hmm.
Things that my mother did. In addition to her cooking, she thinks that she was the best cook. And nobody said nobody could make macaroni
And cheese.
like her. That's the best. But I think that really watching my parents, I learned a lot about how two people can get on.
Great foundation.
Yeah.
Great foundation. It's so important.
And I think those influences I think this is something which is probably, when I first came to Jamaica, one of the things that surprised me was there were not I didn't see as many families as I see. I remember everybody's part of a family. I mean, everybody has there's a husband and a wife and a kids and something. So
that family structure.
It has changed a lot since then, right?
Yeah.
But there was a family structure there, parents and so on, and I knew very few kids at school with me who didn't have a mother and father at home, and they go home with mother and father at home. They were very few, and they were so few that they just stuck out.
Yeah, that was the definitely not the norm.
So I was accustomed to a family.
Yeah, that was your norm.
Yeah, and I knew very few families who broke up.
What advice would you give to parents or even partners right now who are on the verge on wondering if marriage is right for them? What advice would you give to them?
I'm not sure what advice. I'm not sure if I'm qualified to give advice.
Of course you are.
Because I can't tell them do what I did.
Yeah, because everybody's
my circumstances
is
are different. I came out of a
Exactly.
different experience, and I might be telling somebody that they're not familiar with,
Yeah, because everybody's experience is
Everybody's
different.
different, yeah. But I just think you just have to be understanding of each other. Really, I think that's what it comes down to. And before you say something that can be upsetting, just think it over and maybe find a different way
That's a way of saying
expressing
it.
yourself.
My mother used to tell me it's not what you're saying, but it's how you say it. So important, huh? So, Mr. Hutchinson, a little birdie told me that you still play golf. Not only do you still play golf, but you're very, very, very good at it.
No. If you look at my scores, you would think so. At school, I love sports. I love sports. I played sports. I played a lot. Coming from Barbados, I played cricket, of course. Cricket was number one sport. So when I came to Jamaica, I found a team to play, which happened to the UWI senior common room. That's the lecturers and some of the students senior common. I played senior common room with a number of guys here, and we enjoyed it. We had a good time and stuff. I played like what they call junior cup at the time, and I also played hockey for a team called Black Hawks in those days. And then now I met through work. I met some associates, and who became friends actually, and they played. So one of them played golf, and I kept saying, not only that, but I worked with a Canadian firm at one stage for a couple of years, and the Canadians all play golf. And these guys were always taking off in the evenings at 5 o'clock and waiting to came miles like in the summer just to get in a few holes and so on. And on weekends they go play. So I was not in the game at all in the game at that time. So I decided, well, my friend said, someone come out and play it and so on, and I decided, well, I'll give it a try. And one of these friends came to my house one day. Well, I remember it was Labor Day in 1976, and said to me, you don't start yet, you went and did your lesson, because I advised her to go and get coaching
lessons,
first, get some lessons. And there was a pro at Constance Spring called Jasper Markland. He was a Jamaican guy. Won the Jamaica Open like about 2 or 3 times, and was an institution at Constance Spring. He taught most of the golfers around that time for years and years and years and years. So I went to Jasper and did my 10 lessons, and had him out on the course. They did 10 lessons, so because he started from the basics. And after that, so this friend came by and said, listen, it was a holiday. He said, been out on finish your lesson? I said, yes. He said, been out on the course? Okay. I said, no, we're not there. He said, come. And I went out with him. And you know the strangest thing happened? There must be some kind of a record. I birdied the very first hole I played.
Oh, wow.
It was funny and at the time because he and I walked down to his friend and I walked down to the tee together from the clubhouse and so on. When we got on the tee now, we saw this guy coming down, foreign guy, coming down. This guy came in and said, he's a visitor or he's somewhere, he's not from Bembo here. Can he join us? So I didn't know anything about the game or the etiquette or the protocol and so on. So my friend said, George says, come on, come join us and so on. But then George decided not to sit to the guy. I have to apologize for my friend here because this is his first round of golf, so you understand, don't expect
much.
So he asked the guy what's his handicap. The guy said he's a 4 handicap. My friend was probably about a 14 or so handicap and so on. And I asked him, he said, well, I've never played before, I don't have a handicap. It's probably used to give you 24 maximum at the time. So we went out, and on the first hole, the guy bogeys the hole, and I birdied the hole.
That's very good.
No. So I think that's what got me hooked up.
It's been a love affair ever since.
Yes, it is. Got hooked. That's all you need. It's probably like the marriage, I got hooked the first time.
Mr. Hutchinson, what are some advice that you being the person that you are, live the life that you've lived thus far, what advice would you give to your younger self, like your 20-year-old self? What advice would you give?
I would say find something that you're passionate about and and put everything into it.
Yeah.
You have to be passionate about something. It might be something in your professional life, it might be something in your spiritual life, it might be something in your social life, but you got to be passionate about something as well. And always be true to yourself and always treat people with respect and dignity. It pays. And listen to people when they talk to you.
Good.
Because sometimes they'll tell you something that, and if you're not listening, you're not going to hear.
That's true.
So sometimes people around you need your assistance, need your help in a way, but they don't ask you for it. But they will express it in other ways.
Yeah.
And so you have to be able to listen and then be able to act on it and so on. And especially always, I feel like you should always give more than is expected of you.
Yes.
Let them be surprised and wonder, always give more than is expected.
That is profound, actually. Yeah. That is profound.
It comes back 10 times.
In several different forms.
Several times.
Yeah, that's true. I'm interested also to understand, have you had any failures per se in your life? And what lessons have you learned from those failures, if any?
I might not have done or achieved all the things that I probably set out to do. But I don't necessarily classify them as failures. It's just that you didn't complete something, or you didn't achieve something that you really wanted, you really thought that you could achieve or you should achieve as well. And it did happen for whatever reason and so on.
Yeah.
But my take on that is that it is a lesson. The best lessons are in your failures. When you play golf, you learn that too. When when something doesn't go right in golf, you can learn a lot from it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you also learn a lot from other people's failures. You see other people they do things and it doesn't work. And you must also
Learn from that. Yeah.
And when I'm on the golf course, I don't like to mess around with my playing partners' games too much.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're out there, they have their own thoughts and they're doing something, they're doing. And I will play with someone for weeks and don't say anything to them at all because the first time I may reach a point where I see them struggling to achieve something and they don't listen and so on. And I can see why they're not doing it. And I will just probably give them a tip and so on. And it depends on how receptive they are to that.
Yeah.
Just to determine whether I
Even
go a little
go
further
more,
and so
yeah.
on. But when I do that and I help somebody and so on, whether it's part of the game and so on, I find that it reinforces those things in me and make me better at it and so on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't make the same mistakes again and so on. So, and that teaches me that helping others really what you're doing. You're helping yourself.
That is so true. So many words of wisdom. Mr. Hutchinson, I've got so many bite-sized nuggets from our conversation. The key thing for me is passion. Do what you're passionate about. Give more without even expecting anything in return. It has been a pleasure speaking with you today.
Thank you.
And I hope our viewers got something. And I'm going to take those lessons into my marriage because I want it to stay like yours. Communication is so critical. Understanding. Just a heart of empathy for my partner. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
It was a pleasure.
This was my pleasure.
We are putting so much stuff in our body that it's not of God. And we're not spending the time to find these things out. We just say, okay. And then we're wondering, why is it that we're not in good health? Why is it that we're only worried about our soul being prosperous, but we have work to do here, and our body is the temple of God. So therefore, it's imperative for us to look what we're consuming. Look at the labels of these things, and if you read it, you can't make these things out, don't buy it.